I got an unusual story today, family, especially for my channel, being as though I mainly push out Black empowerment content on my channel. But every once in a while, I like to shake things up in order to spice things up, in order to keep things interesting and bring different things to the forefront every once so often and put them in the limelight. And today, family, I'm letting you guys be the judge. Now, was this lady's actions warranted or unwarranted? Here we have it, a Houston funeral home employee, an embalmer to be exact, cut off a deceased man's genitalia and stuffed them in his mouth. This was after, family. Here's why I'm, saying, is this warranted or unwarranted? This was after. Here's the kicker right here. After she found out that he was a sex offender, in life. Now this is wrong per quote unquote job protocol. This ain't the proper way you're supposed to be conducting yourself on the job, and this goes against societal norms and, society standards. And this might not even be popular opinion, but we know that just because something goes out of the four wall standards of how society's supposed to conduct ourselves, don't mean that things can't be noble and just. And, things that go against popular opinion can still, truth be told, be noble and just. Now, this lady, I'm going to say her actions was warranted. And if y'all mad, sue me. It is what it is. This is my, channel, and I bring my light to and awareness on things. But this lady is now facing a whole host of charges, and she ain't going to be, you could bet your last dollar she never going to be able to work in that funeral home industry again. Her career, she ain't even got a career in terms of that. And she got a whole host of charges that's now slapped on her for cutting off this deceased man's genitalia. And if you ask me, this is why I'm saying that her actions is warranted, because, sex offenders, people that harm little innocent children and babies, they the worst that society has to offer. They filth, in my opinion, in my book. And most of the time, these people that commit these heinous crimes of the sexual nature, they ain't given much jail time in jail. And then when they do come home, they given employment quick, fast, and in a hurry, and they're able to find housing right off the bat. But on the other hand, you might got a guy that, is in jail for a nonviolent drug offense that gets, buku years slapped on him, comes home and can't even find a job and can't find housing no way. And you can't make that make sense to me in my book. And you also got other countries in this world, family. We got to keep in mind that when you do these kind of heinous sexual assaults and things like that and commit these atrocities, you ain't giving a proper burial no way. But I got the audio and the video of this, family. We're going to walk through and talk about it how we normally do. I just thought this was interesting, and that it could spark dialogue and wanted to share it with the family. Fair use.
Only on 2 tonight, a funeral home employee criminally charged for a disturbing case in Houston. An embalmer accused of mutilating a corpse.
It's unfortunate because it makes us all really look bad.
Now KPRC2 is asking questions tonight about how something like this could have happened and how you can make sure it doesn't happen to a loved one.
When someone dies, there's some dignity that should be left.
Well, a licensed Houston embalmer is wanted after investigators say she cut off a man's private part before cremating him. She has been fired from her job, but tonight there is also a warrant for her arrest. Thank you for joining us. I'm Keith Garvin. Daniela Guzman is off this week. KPRC2's Bryce Newberry has the details you'll see only on 2 in the...
I wonder what the charges is they're going to put on this woman. Maybe abuse of a corpse. I don't know. If you got any idea what the charges would be, family, put it in the comment section. But let's continue.
Warning before your loved one is laid to rest.
The allegations here are rare and disturbing. This embalmer is accused of stabbing this dead man twice in the groin area, then cutting off part of his private part and putting it in his mouth. Investigators say it all happened after she learned about his past. At Memorial Mortuary on the southwest side, it's a situation that no family would ever want to hear about their loved one.
This was a vicious, brutal attack of a corpse. The person's already dead. It's kind of shocking even to me.
Licensed embalmer Amber Laudermilk is accused of using a scalpel to twice stab a man in the groin after he died of pneumonia last month. She cut off his private part, put it in his mouth, according to records, and told a trainee who witnessed it, "You didn't see anything."
2 troubled lives coexisted at the same time, but this person clearly, our suspect clearly just went off the edge.
Harris County Precinct 1 Constable deputies investigated. They say employees were too scared to report her, who, according to records, covered the dead man up with a towel when a colleague noticed the disfigurement. While a motive isn't clear, records show mortuary staff had just learned the victim was a registered sex offender. How important are ethics in this line of work?
Right. Ethics is everything in this line of work.
Jason Altieri runs South.
But on the other hand, family, and I ain't making, excuses for that filth, that, committed these sexual crimes of a sexual nature in life, but when you work in a job, you do got to maintain, ethics on that job. So, I could kind of get that aspect as well, but he still was a piece of filth in terms of, society. But let's continue.
Southeast Texas crematory, not connected to this case, admitting this could have been hard to predict. He says families should be aware of where loved ones will be cremated, feel comfortable to ask questions, and be able to visit and see it in person.
Whether we have, a particular judgment one way or the other, it doesn't matter. We're there for a family, and we have to keep that in mind.
And I kind of get that aspect, but he's still a piece of filth. I can't take my focus, and my thoughts on the matter out of that, perspective. He still was a piece of filth, but, you're supposed to remove your personal emotions when you're working on a job, to ensure that the job gets done. So I kind of can see that aspect, but I can't take my eyes, and, my aspect and view off the, focus of this being, a piece of filth, this, deceased.
Staff reported the case involving Laudermilk to the Texas Funeral Service Commission. The executive director says it's the only criminal abuse of corpse case across the state in the last 2 years.
Dealing with the loss of a loved one is an incredibly difficult time, and there are predators who exploit this vulnerability.
Families should proactively verify the credentials of funeral homes and directors, he says, using the agency's license lookup before putting someone to rest. Laudermilk has been a funeral director in Texas since 2021, according to records. Now the state will seek to suspend and possibly revoke her license.
Yeah, that. I could bet my last dollar she'll never work in that field again of, anywhere around the funeral home. That's done for her.
And it makes us all look bad, and that's the sad thing about this.
Memorial Mortuary tells KPRC2 Laudermilk no longer works there, but declined to provide any additional details, citing a personnel matter and ongoing legal case. The State Funeral Service Commission says investigators will be looking into the business as well to make sure all rules got followed.
I don't know, when I initially watched this family, and I didn't hear it, come up to that part because I wanted to speak on it. So I just added in, real quick, fast and in a hurry, real quick before, because I don't want to be on here too long. But an aspect they said in the video, that they didn't know the motives as to why she did it. The motive is clear. They clear, cut and dry. The motive is on the table already. She did it because, this guy was a sex offender. So, that's the motive, you know what I mean? And the lady, to me, she was warranted in her actions. It might have been, wrong and, not in the four-wall box of being, how you supposed to conduct yourself on a job, from societal standards, from a point of society standards, but we all know that there's things that, ain't in the four-wall box of, what's on the books as being lawful to do that are still right and noble and the just thing to do, and if y'all don't agree with me, y'all entitled to that, but let me know what y'all feel about it in the comment section, family. Was this lady's actions, from cutting off this man's genitalia, he most likely committed some, heinous atrocities in life. Was it warranted or unwarranted? But either way, she's going to be facing a whole host of charges. She ain't never going to be able to work in that field again. And you always got to think about what you do before you do it. Now, I ain't making excuses for, this piece of filth that, got the genitalia cut off on the other hand. But, in all actuality, the man was dead. So, I don't know all that good that lady would have did. In all actuality, she hurt herself more so, being able to not work in that industry no more, in the funeral home industry, and she most likely have to do some jail time. So let me know about, was this warranted or unwarranted in y'all perspective, family, in the comment section. These are just my thoughts on the matter. Peace.